Well, hello everyone, and welcome to HoDiGa's. We are here, and thank you guys so much for joining us on this Saturday. We've got people in the room, the names are just scrolling through, and all of that stuff. And we're looking, of course, to bring you a brilliant show today. So, of course, we have Dianne from Dianne's Tarot, and of course we have Lady G Ganga from now wait, you've changed your channel name because I know it's Lady G Tarot, but it's also, what is it, Life
and Spiritual Life.
There we are.
Tarot and Spiritual Life, yes.
Brilliant. Tarot and Spiritual Life. Well, as usual, we ask questions for you guys, and you guys have put your questions in, and we've got some really interesting ones tonight, some really interesting ones. And as usual, the ladies don't know what I'm going to ask them. So these are kind of like cold reads, and also as well, make sure I watch everyone's videos as well, so we don't get the questions repeated. And so that is the case there. And before I also as well, just at this top of the show, before I also read who is also with us, just some things I think are just worth mentioning right at the top of the show. In fact, actually, I'll see who's with us and then I'll mention these little things. So who do we have with us this evening so far? We have got Sherry H, Mags2248. Is that a new name? I'm not familiar with that one.
So.
And Oh Nene, Bronx Sage. Who else do we have? We've got Satya Nansa, Dr. Liz. Hello, Dr.
Hi, Liz.
Nice to see you back. Clymela Box, Jalacia. Oh, these are new names. Tenny Renner, and many more. So thanks again for you guys for joining in, and also as well, any new subscribers. And also as well, I want to say too, what I've done is for anyone that would like consultations with Lady G or Dianne or myself, I put that in the description below.
Oh,
yes. I was just like,
thank you.
Gosh, I should put that in there. So that's there in the description, and of course, please like and subscribe and join. You know, we're all here as a group. So there's that. So quick announcements before we get stuck in. So first things first. I know you addressed it already a little bit in both of your shows, I think. The Arizona count.
Yes. What a disaster.
That was great. It's
just like, wow.
So Biden won again by even more votes.
By an extra 360 votes.
I mean, how many times can 45 lose? I mean, what number does this make it?
I mean, it's extraordinary. It's just extraordinary. And I remember when we all read on this. This must have been months ago. I think this would have been when we were on Marie's table, I think, and we were reading on that audit, and we were just like, you know what? This thing, what they're planning for, is just not gonna work out. And I think I remember saying, I'm sure everyone else said it as well. I said the only reason why we're not getting the result, which was due at that time, is because Biden won. They dissected it in all different pieces. Even if they tried to insert little strands of bamboo, they would have to do it for so many hundreds of thousands. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Donation just coming. They would have had to, and I think what happened was this. They just cut it and diced it and counted it upside down, backwards, back to front with infrared, with ultraviolet, with every single thing that they could possibly get. They probably got a few kind of Trumpy kind of crystal readers and stuff like that as well to see. And it still came back to the same thing. And for those that are saying that this whole, I mean, what are they going to say now? The QAnoners, what are they going to say now? I mean, now apparently they've just launched one for Texas, where Trump won.
None of it makes any sense. It's just getting stranger.
Wow.
I mean, I think some of them are starting to see the light, but some of them clearly aren't.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the deepest of the cray, obviously they will stay, but I think anyone that was has had any credence and was waiting for that result in anticipation, they've got the result now. So anyway, there's that. The other one I wanted to mention as well is Steve Bannon admits his statement of the kill the Biden administration in the crib. Have you heard about that one?
No.
That's something that he said. So when all of this Jan 6 stuff was the witch's brew, again, for entertainment purposes only, but this has actually been confirmed on TV. So there was a book, a new book that's out, where he said we need to kill the Biden administration in the crib. Was said to the room, it was put out in the book, and then he admitted it on his podcast. Was like, yeah, basically that's what I meant. And that, of course, is a statement of sedition. I mean, this is really, really, do you see like how far gone they are, where it's like, you can't even lie now to even defend yourself. So, I mean, very, very, very strange. Very, very, very strange. So let's start with the questions. And question number 1, again, very topical. And I thought we'd have that at the top of the show. I know a bit about it, but I'm sure you guys know a bit more about this. So Susan Guerrera has asked, where is Brian Laundrie hiding? Is he far from home or in plain sight? Great question. So for anyone that doesn't know, of course, this has become a global story. And sadly, we have the woman who had her own YouTube channel was his fiance. Her last name begins with P. Sorry, it's just gone out of my head. Sorry, her last name.
Oh.
Yeah, I can see her in my mind's eye. Sorry, maybe I blanked.
Her first name's Gabby.
Gabby, that's it, Gabby. Now, when this story broke, I couldn't even click on the CNN or the MSNBC story because I was just like, it's too grim. Because we do this work a lot. I knew the second I saw her, I'm like, she's gone.
Yeah.
She's gone. Yeah. She's not here. I could just feel it. But the fiance has gone on the run, and then more has emerged. And apparently, he could be in the Florida Everglades. So, not Florida Everglades. What am I talking about? Yeah, the Everglades in Florida, but the swampy. The swamp.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's in a swamp, I guess.
Apparently, yeah. So, let's see what we get. And also, as well, can everyone hear us properly as well? I forgot to check in that we could be heard. I'm sure we can, but if you could just let us know. All right, so what has happened with Brian Laundrie?
Would you like me to go first?
Sure, no problem.
Absolutely.
So, there's a couple of things. I mean, because, sometimes you can't really control your psychic hits. I try to, and I try not to watch a lot of news for that reason, because it can be rather uncomfortable. I don't really need to know everything, So one of the phrases that I heard when I was watching this was tip of the iceberg.
Oh.
And I don't think that this was like a crime of passion. I don't think this is a single act. I think there is more to him. And I was able to feel him, and now I'm actually not feeling him. Wow. But I also get, when I go into his energy, I get a real chemical imbalance. So for me, that's either mental illness and or addiction. And so sometimes they're very tough to read. And so his energy is very faint to me. Now, the first card I get is the Ace of Pentacles. And that is something that I got a hit on when I was watching it, that she wanted a certain lifestyle. I think she wanted that Instagram lifestyle, like a lot of young ladies her age do. And he simply didn't have the means. I'm not sure if he even worked. I don't know what he actually did for money, but I feel like money was a real big issue for them. I picked 2 cards for the obstacle. One was their relationship. And when I was watching this, I saw them go into like a motel room, and they had an argument, and that sealed her fate. That argument in the motel room sealed her fate. And I felt like she underreacted. Like she didn't want to draw attention or cause a scene at that time, because this would be after that infamous video that we all saw with the police and all that. The other obstacle is here he is trying to get away with it.
Wow.
There's no doubt in my mind that he did it. He is all by himself, but I certainly don't feel good about his future. I mean, the Hermit paired up with the Death card. I'm not really sure if he's alive or not, or if he's just not long for this world. But like I said, I barely feel any energy coming off of him.
Wow. Lady G, what do you have? What do you have for us?
Well, in the center, I have the chameleon. So, yeah, trying to change his look.
Trying to change his spots, yeah.
Yeah. Underneath of it, the direction. The direction. So he's not where, they're looking. Above it, we have hidden things. Going into it, we have the Hangman. Now, it could be either he's holding up somewhere, or it could be future coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the things are, I think they might be, if he's staying, I had at first somebody was helping him, but I was feeling now that they don't want to be so involved, and they are closing in, that they are getting closer to closing in. They're going to get something, and at that point move forward after him. Something's going to be uncovered that they've tried to hide.
Wow.
Well, his parents did help a little too much. I mean, I understand parents want to protect their child, but she also lived with them for a year.
Exactly.
So I mean, how can they not feel some obligation to her?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the really creepy thing, that they live with them, and then she, they're doing what they can to aid him to escape. I think it's all a smokescreen what they were doing.
Yes.
Wow, my goodness. All right, so here's my cards. I'm actually going to do a little reveal here. Can you see them? Oh, no, the camera shot is not wide enough. Let me just move back a bit. Anyway, look, what do I get here? Oh, get the Empress. We see here. Oh, look, Stinky Fish has showed up.
Stinky Fish.
Oh.
Death card, too.
We got the death card.
What you can't see.
We get a Hangman, we get death and death.
I mean, that's very interesting, isn't it? That card should come back up. So straight off here, what we get the Empress, and in terms of like what's the question, what's it all about? Now, normally, of course, in for many of us, this is like the America card, isn't it? So on one level, we could say, okay, this is a story that's gone global. It's an American story. But this also as well, this makes me think a bit of Gabby actually, and her ambitions for herself and her life. How you were saying like the Instagram thing. So this is about being a creative woman's fecundity. Could she have been pregnant? I don't know. Could she? Because this is the card of pregnancy. It's just something that's just come to me. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I know that this card deals with that as well. Maybe that could have been something that she may have revealed, and it was, maybe triggered something. That's just my little hit there, but this for me is Gabby and her creativity. But what is the situation that was blocking it? Look, the seven of cups, which is about what? Delusions. This can also speak as well to mental ill health. And I think this is him, of course, the obstacle to the Empress. This would logically be him. So a man that is confused, not sure where he's going in life, even a little bit deranged or unhinged. That's the way that I see that. And then when we look here, a message coming forward. Well, we know what the message was that came forward. She's been discovered, but it looks like we might soon have a message about him as well. And as you know, I call this one Stinky Fish. So we can see here, it's not a great message either way that's coming forward. What could it be about? Could it be about him maybe not being here anymore? Because we know already that he's very unstable. So if he's got into the Everglades, I mean, even if he doesn't do anything to himself, there are alligators, there are snakes, there is dangerous stuff out there that can kill
Yeah.
you. You know, if you are not, I mean, even if you're in a boat, it doesn't matter. Alligators, they're very strong and they're very intelligent. They know how to track prey. They would have seen a human there and they'd be like, oh, let's see what he does. Let's see if he goes to sleep at night. So if he, we'll see what happens in regards to himself, but he's not in a place that prolongs life. And then when we see here as well, the outcome card, and normally this is about money changing hands, isn't it? And this can be about charity and stuff like that. But this to me might actually speak of the support of the parents and maybe it being a bit underhand. So I think they've kind of, you know, they've essentially tried to abet his escape, but really what is the positive outcome potentially of that? And I don't think it's very much at all. So for me, I see this as misguided charity. It's the card of charity, but I see it as misguided charity. And I don't think it's going to lead to a good outcome, unfortunately. Yeah, so, it's very dark, isn't it? It's very dark.
It is.
What was that webcam? I couldn't watch it. It was too creepy for me. Sorry, Lady G. Sorry, Lady G. Did you say something?
No.
Yeah.
No, it's not looking good. It's coming to an end one way or another. Either they're going to find him or he's going to. But no matter what, it's going to transition some way.
Yeah, it seems to be. I wish we could be a bit more optimistic about it, but there you are. I thought I'd answer the question, but the cards speak, and we often draw the same cards. And
synchronicity here.
That's what we're getting. All right, so question number 2. Now, this is this is a bit of a whopper, actually. And this is coming from Patricia Franzino, who we all know. And before I ask the question as well, let's just do a few more shout outs. So again, thank you everyone for joining us. Oh, there's over 400 of you now. Very nice of you to come in. So Sharon Saipe, of course. So nice to see you again. Terry Renner. We've got Vicky.
Hi, Terry.
And we've got, let's see, who's this? Cat Mama Meow. Oh, yeah. I think that's really cool, actually.
Love it.
Marjorie, nice to see you in. And Simona Natural. And we've got some new names in here. So again, it's so nice to see new people. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, thank you for the donations. Right, next question from Patricia Franzino. Big one. So will the Vatican fall from the weight of its own corruption sooner rather than later?
Will who fall?
The Vatican.
Vatican.
Oh, the Vatican. Ooh, that's
big question.
Big question.
Because I like to put in an international one here and there, and I just thought that is a whopper. As we know, the Vatican, in many ways, one of my approaches in terms of looking at it from that historical perspective, because I'd like to write historical fiction and stuff like that, and we need to understand the Vatican in many ways was the world's first franchise. In that sense of you had a central organization with missionaries that went out and they all brought wealth, etc., back. So it's actually one of the earliest, if we take the religion part out of it, it's actually one of the earliest templates for a capitalist structure ever. It really is. I mean, it is quite extraordinary. And I respect and love the art and all that kind of stuff. As you would imagine, I've got background in the arts. But there's a lot to answer for. Let's put it that way without, offending people or getting too political, if you know what I mean. Right. So who would like to go first? What do you have, Dianne?
I can go first. Okay, so I do think some truth will be coming out. There's, like so often when we do these readings, here's the Ace of Swords. So we know that there's things that's going to come out for sure. One of the questions that Lena and I was talking about last night was why aren't they helping at the border, considering that we have all those people that are all Catholic, Haitians, the South Americans, the Mexicans, they are all Catholic, and yet the Catholic Church actually does nothing to help them, even though they can't even count how much money they have. So I picked 2 cards for their obstacle. One is they are going to have a hard time moving forward. They're going to have a hard time forging a new path for themselves. But they did ever since, the 80s, when they said if you were divorced You were excommunicated. Well, that's my generation. And so they excommunicated all those people that had children. And so now the children didn't go to church. So they did hurt themselves all the way back then. And I mean, I know that they've reversed it now, but now you have like a generation or so that stopped going to church. And something to do with the pandemic.
Look at that.
I am wondering if people are going to become rather critical of them not helping more, not helping, you know, the poor, the needy, the hungry, things like that. I think this is not the Vatican per se. I think this is more Catholics in general. They're leaving in droves. I mean, you have to understand, I'm a New Englander. You know, what they have done to this region, you know, I mean, they literally made that movie about it, right? With the sexual abuse scandal.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're going through it again.
Was that Meryl Streep? Was that the Meryl Streep film, or I don't know?
Gosh. I'm trying to think of the name of the movie. I'm sure somebody in the comments will remember. I mean, because it won awards, but it was about the Catholic Church in New England. Wow. But here's the thing. They are going to find some balance and some harmony. I don't see them upping and going anywhere anytime soon. Mm-hmm. I see a lot of their congregation going, but I don't see the Vatican actually. I mean, they don't really need to collect a dime anymore, and they can still exist.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So why would they go?
Yeah, and it's actually a separate independent state. That's the thing,
yes.
Right? The Vatican is actually the smallest separate state in the world. They actually have their own postal system. I actually went there once upon a time when I was actually in Italy doing research and stuff, and I love Italy. And the Vatican itself, as an experience, as a building, is gargantuan. And it is stupendous. Like I had by the time I reached the Sistine Chapel, because it's like a 2.5 hour walk all the way through. There's a special walk that you do. I literally looked up to the Sistine Chapel and I was like, oh yeah, because I was just done by that point. And I literally had to go back to my hotel to sleep because the level of wealth and opulence and art and sculpture, it is utterly stupendous, you know, for the art, but it's overwhelming, and it's literally, you cannot pack in any more art, and that's just what's on display. So anyway, Lady G, what do you have for us?
Well, in the center of it, I have, you know, they're involved with so many things, you know, so much stuff's going on that they are still trying to hold to. They don't want to change. But above it, you know, usually Six of Swords is moving forward out of that. But in this one, they're killing the unicorn. Okay.
Oh, yes.
They're killing the unicorn. He's bleeding out. They're still trying to hold to these things, you know, and all this stuff that's going on. Not changing it. So we've got the Four of Cups. People are getting, you know, wise to it, and they're not happy. So they're trying to be guarding, but things are changing. Magician, you know, people are coming in from this newer generation, and it's going to make a change. Going forward, you know, usually this is the one of block, not being willing to see, but in this case, yeah, it's coming forward. Okay, people are voicing, you know, the pedophilia and all this stuff is coming out, the pain that they've caused, heartbreak and pain, and it's a passage to stronger truth, stronger things coming out. So I think at the center, killing the unicorn has about said the pivotal point in this, that it's going to change. They're trying to keep things intact, you know, with the stuff they've been promoting, all these things, but it's falling apart. It's falling apart.
Wow. My God, this is fascinating. So I'm going to do a camera down and let's see what I get this time. See if my cards marry. Oh, here we are. Oh, you can't see that one. This doesn't work. My camera's not wide enough. Anyway, there's that. We've got some infighting. Oh, look. The Magician is here.
Magician too.
Look at that. Yeah. And look at that. Wow. Okay, here we go. So to symbolize it straight off, look, as we know, I tend to interpret reversal cards as it's more internal. So really what this is internal wrangling and fighting. Either way, they're fighting amongst themselves about their future, what their plan is. Oh, joined by 500 people now. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. So here, what this says to me is that leadership, the leadership position, even up to the Pope himself and all the people that surround, they're at odds with each other, and they're having this kind of internal struggle, I would imagine, about their role in the world, and also as well about how to express their power. The magician has come in the obstacle position. So this is, in some ways, we could say, the world's perception of how, I mean, if you look, I mean, he literally does look like a priest, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, if you actually look at him, he's actually wearing like robes, and look, there's the cup there, which could also be like one of the sacraments, and all that kind of stuff. So this is almost like people see, the priesthood itself as the obstacle to the Vatican Church, which again makes absolute sense, doesn't it? This is what's been going on. And this has been also their force and their power, which they still have. But it's also as well, almost like that overreach as well. And I find it interesting that the next card that comes up is like the card of artisans. And, I was talking about the art in the Vatican. But we know, I mean, this is when it's like it's the right way up, collaboration, community, people commissioning art. As we know, if there is one great legacy that we can all agree on, of the Catholic Church has been the art commission, the commission of art. That contribution has just been spectacular, and I don't think anyone's complaining about that. Michelangelo, the Sistine Chapel, countless, Caravaggio, everyone. But here, this also speaks to what? Corruption, dark money. And I think this answers as well what you were saying, Dianne, and what you and Lena discussed on your video as well, is why aren't they helping? And it's because they basically want to keep the money to themselves.
It's their people.
Exactly.
Their people are suffering, and they have more money than they could ever need.
Yeah, quite literally. I mean, where are the statements? I mean, we saw Haitians being whipped by cowboys, literally going back to goodness knows what. Where was the statement from the Vatican, from the windows saying we're all equal and blah blah blah, and we should be like Christ and all that stuff? Where was it? If we look here as well, there's more information. So we can see here, when the card is the right way up, this talks about victimization, doesn't it? Feeling trapped and, not showing which way to go, trying to, travel these difficult waters. And this, in a way, could be the Vatican in the background here, but it's come reversed. So again, these internal feelings, I think there's these internal feelings of strife, as if they've been victimized by the world because of what they've done. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's almost like poor me, but there is also as well this change of perspective as well. This can also mean coming up with another plan as well. However, in terms of the outcome, do you see it just continues? There's not really any positive cards here, and anyone that are positive, they've been reversed. So if we just look here, I mean, this is kind of like, sorrow, but it's also that element of letting go as well. It's almost like they're trying to move on from that shadowy, dark past. But when I look here, it's like, for me, that magician card is like, people remember, no matter what they say, people remember how things were and how this abuse went. And it's kind of like you said, this is almost like the magician excommunicating people, like, huzzah, like with we banish you. And people are like, fine, but, I'm not bringing my kids, and what's going to happen eventually, it will kind of, might not have such a great ending. So that's how I interpret that. Anything else you'd like to add to that, ladies?
I think it's striking that none of us got the justice or the judgment card or anything about legal issues.
Yeah.
We didn't get the death card.
Yeah.
I mean, so that tells me they're just going to just keep going, doing kind of what they're doing. Because I guess from their perspective, why not? You know, it's
Yeah.
worked for this long, and unless somebody tries to stop them and wage war against them, what's going to
Yeah.
change?
That's true. And they are so powerful as well as an
Exactly.
institution. They're so powerful. So I just want to say thank you to Pavla for your donation. There were some donations earlier on, but I missed them. But thank you guys anyway so much. We really appreciate that. And who else do we have in the house? We've got Tammy Eames. I think that's Richard Kano. We've got Texas Girl in VA. So that must be in Virginia. Yeah, Texas Girl in Virginia. Mayan Ruffini. Oh, that's a great name, Ruffini. Love that. And let's see, Susan Chekan. Oh, we've got another donation that's come in. Thank you so much from Clarissa. And lots of people joining us here in the house as we edge up to higher numbers. Right. Okay. Oh, I've got some jump outs, but they're not relevant because I've not asked any questions yet. Okay, so question number 3. Now, this is coming from Nicole Hartrell. And she asked several questions, actually, but they were also pertinent that I actually put a few of them down. So here, now, the original question that I had for her, which was, will the infrastructure bill pass? But you've already covered that question already in your show, Dianne, yesterday. And I think as well, Lady G, you've covered things about the infrastructure bill. So I looked at the other option and it was, pardon me, will the voting bill pass? And in some ways, I think that's probably more pertinent. Well, they're both really pertinent. So will the voting bill pass? Will the voting bill pass? Let's see what we have here. Such an important bill because really we're talking about the cornerstone of democracy here. And we want America to be able to hold its head up high and say that it maintains those values. Let's see, will the voting bill pass? Will the voting bill pass? The voting bill pass.
Okay.
Are you ready to go, Dianne?
Yeah, I mean, I start off on a good note here. My very first card is the Justice card. So justice will prevail. You know, the right thing will happen. However, the obstacle, there's going to be those that are in power that are going to oppose it. But we already know that. I don't think that's a big surprise that, you know, I mean, a lot of these Republicans, they do want to suppress the vote because the people that they're trying to suppress wouldn't vote for them. And they know this.
Yeah.
So, but we are in for a drastic change. And, you know, certainly the world is watching, but also we are ending one phase, we're starting a new one. And it's one where wishes and dreams come true. And, you know, this is one of my cards for the US. And this is a card of, you know, faith and hope and trust. And so I would say yes. I mean, my cards are very positive for this.
Okay, Lady G, what do you have?
I pulled 3 cards this time. So the first card, we have some, you know, the Republic Uglies that are not so happy about this. They don't like to see this coming forward. But in the center, we have the victory card. She's just swimming in the sunshine here. So the 6 of Wands, victory, and it is time. The Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune.
Karmic, it is time for these changes to take place. So, yeah, we're in a new direction. We're absolutely, the energy is changing here and we're going forward.
Oh, excellent. Well, that's good. Now, as you guys know, I'm all the way over here in Britain, thousands of miles away on the other side of the Atlantic. And I tend to get these kind of sort of like quite helicopter views. Now, what I find interesting here, because we're so often in sync and like the two or both of your reads have been very positive, I think I've got the GOP side of the argument. I think I've got the GOP side. Because this voting bill is doing what? Again, look,
Yeah.
They are upside down, mixed around. They are just literally in the tumble dryer right now, wondering what to do about these votes, because they know if this passes, you know, they're in trouble. What's the obstacle? The smug merchant. They know they're going to be out of money and support. If this passes, you know, they're going to try and do as much mishegas and as much kerfuffle as they can cause, because they know they'll be out of money. They'll be out of votes. They won't be able to sit pretty. If it goes against them, what's going to happen? Kadoom! Yeah? Look at that. But this is also what they're trying to do to the voter. They're trying to stab the voters in the back. It's a betrayal. This is what they're doing. What is their obstacle to that? Look, we got the Biden card. Look. So we look here, but look, the card has come upside. It's come upside down. So what this says to me, this is a little bit of a warning in the sense of Biden has to be strong on this. He's really, really got to push, because even though we know with the infrastructure bill, kind of like you were saying, Diane, you know, huge potholes in the road and stuff like that.
Oh, it took out 10 cars near me yesterday.
I mean, 10 cars in one hole. I mean, that is just extraordinary.
I mean, that's heading towards a major city, you know? It's insane.
It's just crazy. So what this shows as well, though, Biden has to understand he can't take his eye off the ball. Because the thing is, even if the infrastructure package passes, if voting is no longer valid, then what? Then all would be lost. This is what's at stake again. Democracy here is at stake. So will it be the case that that the Democrats can bring this GOP cray-cray to an end, or will they succeed in overcoming Biden's will? This is the thing. So for me, looking at it from that perspective, because both of your cards spreads were positive, that inclines me to think that ultimately it could be the Republicans that will be defeated, but they are going to literally fight like hell. They're going to fight to the death over this, quite literally, because they know what it means for them if they lose. It means this, that they're finished. And Biden's really got to, I know he's got a lot on his plate, but this whole thing with the voting thing is just as important, if even not slightly more important than the infrastructure bill. Because what if it passes, and then the Republicans are able to cheat because they've undermined everyone's votes? It won't come to fruition. It will just get voted down. So the democracy has to come first, and then the legacy can be secured. So that's the way I see it from my Brit perspective.
We really have to take the Senate in this next election if we want to get these things passed.
Yeah, absolutely. And the next question actually dovetails very nicely into that. And the next question is, will the filibuster be abolished?
Oh, geez.
And while everyone's shuffling, I'll just do a few readouts. So we've got Tracy Rowe. We have Joan Murphy. Someone said Marsha Green is saying, she said here, the GOP have been cheating from day one. Let's see here as well. Who else is in? We've got M. James. We have got, thank you, Paul. Paul's saying, click the thumbs up, everyone. Oh, what's making you go? Have you seen something?
The minute you said that they've been cheating from day one, I see them as a baby stealing somebody else's bottle.
Quite literally. But I mean, they're in such a quandary now, because we've had what's his name win in California, and now we get the audit. You know, the cyber ninjas basically saying Biden. Wow. So they're feeling it as well. What do you have, Diane, for us? What do you have?
Okay, so my cards are a little dark. So I'm sorry.
Okay.
So we start off with the High Priestess. So I mean, obviously we know that there's hidden motives, hidden agendas. There's things behind the scenes, and I think the Republicans are working hard to prevent this. I think this is representing them. Nothing's been decided yet. Two of Wands, they're still trying to figure things out, but this should have already been figured out.
Yeah.
So then I literally get the Death card followed by the Three of Swords.
Wow.
So mine is pretty negative. I hope that I'm wrong, but I don't think it's going to be successful.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Lady G, what do you have for us?
Well, I have, we have some offerings out there, some losses. There will be some victories, but we need to find those willing to work together and to, I love this Page of Swords. Hear ye, all princes and princesses are hereby invited to use your mental energy and enthusiasm to begin a new project. So they
But that makes me think too, though, that we could actually sway this with our own energy.
Yeah, and they need to find the people that they can work with to turn it around. There are going to be some offerings, not great, some losses, some victories, but then we need to get them that are willing to work together and get smart, do it in a smart way.
Right.
Yeah, but I love these. The pages are so funny in here.
Oh, well, you know what? With my cards, it's quite mixed as well. I won't pull down the camera thing because that's better on a two-hander because it can't actually see wide enough. But on that whole question, we've just gone to 600. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this evening. We really do appreciate your company, and thank you for the comments as well. And it's so funny, guys. Like the comments are racing up and down. Everyone's having their own conversations as well. Everyone's like, "Hey,
that's great.
How you doing?" So that's another good reason to join. We're really building a community here. So in terms of the question, will the filibuster go? Look at this. Look at this. I get the Five of Pentacles. And look, when this card turns up in a deck, it's not good news. Yeah.
No.
Because it doesn't matter which way it is. Either way, it's, you're out in the cold, there is a pickle. So there are people who do basically, in terms of this idea of turning over the filibuster, they don't want to do it. Yeah. They don't want to do it. And part of the reason why they don't want to do it is because they think it's going to lead to this.
Yeah,
the Republicans, GOP at the very least, and let's also as well not forget, I mean, I know, this is mainly, a Democratic, blue channel and stuff, but we do know we've got some Democrats in there who also do not support turning over the filibuster. And I did one of a little in-depth on a certain Manchin the other day. So, and he doesn't support it. So, but why? Why don't they support it? It's because they don't want this. They feel that if they let the filibuster go, that's it. They're out in the cold. And they're feeling victimized about it. Look, it's like my cards are just on repeat. You saw me shuffle. I picked out again.
Oh, come on. You had those over to the side.
Yeah.
I was literally just rummaging. And as you see, I close my eyes and I pick. So if the filibuster goes, they're going to feel poor and they're going to feel what? Victimized. Yeah. Because it's going to just affect the way they navigate. And again, look, they won't, if the filibuster goes, the smug merchant, end of days for the smug merchant. They don't want to give up that comfort, that luxury that they enjoy. And when we talk about the ending of the filibuster, that's how it makes them feel, like that. That card has come back again. So do they want it to progress? No. Thank you, Dr. Liz, for your donation. No, they don't want it to progress, even though there's a lot of power there. There's a lot of people that want to. They want to see it blocked. However, my outcome card, look at that, ladies. Victory. So what it could be that there could be some tug of war, wrangling, all kinds of infighting and hoopla and round and round and all sorts until the midterms. And it could be, assuming that the GOP don't get their way, the midterms potentially could shift it, because obviously because the chariot preceding, and I always say a card that's upside down can be turned the right way round. So if things start moving forward, there'll be something needs to prompt that victory. And I think it could be the midterms that actually might be something that kind of makes things move. But I think it would take something big like that, because my cards were pretty much echoing yours. It's not in their interest. The smug merchants, they don't want to see it go, folks.
No, but it needs to.
It does. It absolutely does.
It's been too long.
Oh, indeed. Anything else to add to that before I move to the next question? Are we all good? All right. So the next one that came in, we'll just do a few more shout outs as well. So creating your life consciously. Love that is here in the house. Connie Brown, Mindset Lorraine, Mary Thornberry, and Tracy Rowe.
Hi, Tracy.
Tracy saying she never reads the reverse, but I love to. They give you a little bit of extra of, particularly when it's a nuanced question, or particularly when you're dealing with people that, because we talk about these people a lot, when you get the reverse cards, they can give you just a little bit more. So we asked, what did I just ask now? The filibuster. Did I ask about the infrastructure bill?
No, because I did that yesterday.
That was it. That was it. And that's it. I need to put the line through that one. And we've asked about the filibuster. So now we're on question 5. Here we are. Will Americans gain universal health care? So we'll answer that. And I've left the biggest question for last. Will Americans gain universal health care?
We certainly need it.
Oh my goodness. No, healthcare, the roads, internet, the whole shebang.
Yes. The water grid, the electric grid.
It's like root and branch. It's so needed on every aspect. All right. So will Americans get universal health care? And just so you know, guys, for next week, so when we're asking the questions, when I set for the next show, feel free to leave your questions. We really do love them, and because it's a big part of the show. All right, so will Americans get universal health care? Universal health care. Will Americans get universal health care?
Okay.
Which is something we've enjoyed in Europe and the UK for decades now. What do you have, Dianne?
So I get, the card of being introspective and reflective. So, there's going to be a lot of discussion about this. Obviously, lots of meetings, and, it's going to take a lot, but it's going to take a lot of thought, and they're going to have to figure out how to do it correctly. The obstacle is they haven't come up with a plan yet.
Right.
So, there's a newness with all 2 cards. And so the next card's also a 2. And part of the issue is how to juggle the money, how to figure out how they're going to pay for it. But I think we all know that if we were to tax the billionaires, well, it would be
there. Yeah. I'm listening.
Problem.
Comfort break. I'm listening.
I think as they, hold these hearings and meetings, a lot of truth is going to come out. And I suspect some of that truth is that we actually do indeed have the cash to do this. I think last year the Pentagon lost $3 trillion. Well, it wouldn't even cost that much for the healthcare. So, I think the money is there. And then I get the card of, 3 generations of a family, real big money. And so that makes me think like, okay, yes, we're going to come up with the cash to actually cover families, all the generations of the family, from the elderly to the babies. Now, they have 2 dogs in this. I don't see us getting veterinarian care, if anybody wants to ask about that. But that would be nice too. With some of the vet bills I've had for my Annie, if we had some sort of pet care, I would definitely take that.
Absolutely. That should be there too. Yes, no, I could hear what you were saying. Oh, yeah, like the money's there, but is the political will there? What did you get, Lady G, with your cards?
What I got is, kind of we're in the middle of transformation. There are going to be those that are going to be wanting to bring new ideas forward, talking about it, new ideas. The White House is for it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Government is for it. But unfortunately, not now. It's something that's going to have to be worked on. And for that transformation to take place, that energy, we have to be in a position more where we are back to, being flush, because right now we're in difficult situation monetary wise and stuff. So this is the dream. We've got the dreamer. We need to plant the seeds and we get a better spiritual perspective. And so, yeah, I think in the future it's going to come, but we have to be more stable first, monetary wise, as a country.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I've never saw Biden as being the one that passed it.
Yeah. He's for it. He's for it. But yeah, he's not.
But he's dealing with the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I do think it's coming. But I've never seen him as being the one that was able to.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
Wow. Okay. Well, I've got interesting cards as well, and of course, I'm across the Atlantic, and the UK. It's one of.
Where are you?
Yeah. Look, I'm underwater, everyone. Underwater. I'm in a little submarine. That's what I do. I'm actually just off the coast of Maine.
That would be creepy.
I live in my little submarine. But of course, in the UK, we have the NHS, which was one of those great inventions, which has gone on to inspire many nations. And it's something of which Britain can genuinely be proud, because that really was a new concept at the time after the Second World War. Universal healthcare at the point of need. And it does work and it helps everyone. You actually save money. Nations actually save money because you're having less people with dire things essentially going on. I mean, here in the UK, if you call an ambulance, it's free. Yeah, you don't have to pay for an ambulance. You don't have to pick yourself up after being run over and drag yourself into an Uber to try and get to the hospital. And that's even, what if you live in a rural area? How are you supposed to get there? Like horseback or something? But
do you want to know what it cost? Now, I live 1 mile from the hospital.
Yeah.
And towards the end, when my mother's back was literally broken, we had to call the ambulance a few times. So what would you think that the ambulance would cost for 1 mile? And she had 2 health insurances, by the my. What do you think she ended up paying?
Ridiculous like that.
It was about $2,000.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah. Oh my Lord.
And we got her the extra health insurance. That's with extra health insurance.
Gosh, it's just stunning.
Yeah.
I just find it astonishing. It's just like the idea, like you are in need. So it's like you're having a heart attack. Oh, do I dial 999 or do I, call the Uber? Imagine you're having a heart attack and you've got that graphic of the Uber car.
No, I mean, trust me, we tried driving her. We tried, but she couldn't walk. So
wow.
I mean, because that's the reality. Yeah, you do try to actually get yourself there, for sure.
Astonishing. It's just astonishing, isn't it? It's just astonishing. Well, what I got in terms of that. So look, here we are. In terms of the whole question, we just know it's embattled. Again, this is a card that's very similar as well. Either right way up or upside down. It still means the same thing, battling from a vantage point. But here it's almost like feeling almost like overwhelmed by that battle and wanting to sort of like give up. So is this the American people? Is this the American people wondering if they will ever get universal healthcare? But when we see we're wanting to move to smoother waters in regard to this question, wanting to move to smoother waters, which again makes sense. But it's almost like, but when we look, I get the death card again. I think, well, this is like pretty much come up in every reading. So there's some kind of ending of a cycle. There's this kind of ending of a cycle. There needs to be the death of something for universal healthcare to be passed. That's the way that's the way I look at it. So is it a mentality that needs to die? Is it because there seems to be this entrenched view that helping people out is somehow communist. Do you know what I mean? I've seen
it's so strange.
Do you know what I mean? Like people say universal healthcare and they go, "You're a communist," and you're like, "What?"
Or they say that all of you have to wait months on end to get any sort of healthcare. Like we don't. I mean, because after going through all this with my mom, I mean, we have such a shortage of like neurologists. I mean, we had to get her in with somebody, right? Even psychiatrists, we have a shortage of. Heck, we have a shortage of veterinarians.
Wow.
You know, but yeah, it does take a long time even here to oftentimes get in.
Now, isn't that interesting? Because my next card is the Swords, King of Swords. And that can not only mean legal people. So obviously there'll be legal things about this, people wanting to bring challenges and stuff like that. But that can represent doctors as well. People in the medical profession, because they have to be sharp. They use sharp implements and tools. A surgeon. This is also a great one for a doctor as well, or a lawyer. But I've got 2 outcome cards, and an extra card fell out that I wasn't expecting. But look, I got the victory card. But
with
look,
Biden
turns up. So could it be that Biden, maybe towards the end of his presidency or something, is able to snatch some kind of victory or something like that, or get something somehow over the line? So
my feeling, I don't know, when you pulled that, I have a feeling could have something to do with Kamala.
Yes, I totally, that's what I've always seen get it.
Maybe it's that.
I feel it, Biden administration, Kamala may go forward.
Yeah, because this card here, this one, sorry, this Biden one, it fell out. I wasn't expecting, because normally I just do 5, and this was the 6th card. But so that means the outcome would have been a victory, but there's some kind of connection here. So yeah, maybe it could be Kamala or the administration that is able to do it. So what that says to me is it could be a Biden legacy. Could be a Biden legacy that kind of eventually does it. All right, so let's quickly get one in because the hour has almost gone. This is a really deep question, and hopefully we can get it within reasonable confines. So this is coming from Ash. You will know who you are. So what she's written here, I've been hearing a lot about February 22nd, 2022. And this isn't another kind of insurrection-y type thing.
Oh, geez.
It's being an auspicious day for the United States with Pluto's return. And what she's asked is, I'm curious about what events we might expect on that day, and or if it will be more of an energetic shift with little to no waves in the 3D world. Now, what I've got to quickly do is jump in here, which is that I think Ash is obviously, there's a lot of Western astrologers out there, but they go from a different place in the sky. The bona fide time of the Pluto return the exact time will be on the 21st of February, 2024. Yeah. What's happening that year in 2024? Major election. And it's going to be happening at 5 p.m. UK time, 12 noon EST. And it's also going to have Venus and Mars exactly on top of each other, planet of war, planet of peace. And Mars will be exalted and Venus will be very strong. So it will, when that Pluto return happens, it will be epic. But I just thought I would share that. What are you ladies getting about the Pluto return? It would definitely be big. I know.
Okay, well, I mean, it looks energetic, but I'm not getting it in a bad way. So Ace of Wands, a fertile new beginning. All aces are about new beginnings. And I mean, to me, this is positive. The obstacle, I'm wondering if it's going to have a negative impact on those people who aren't very reflective or introspective or meditative, the people that aren't necessarily concerned about their spirituality, that sort of thing. I think you guys probably know who I'm talking about. But then I get two really big cards. The World. So one phase is ending, another phase is beginning, and we're coming into our karmic destiny, Wheel of Fortune. So I take this as, yes, it's very energetic. I think for those who are not in spiritual alignment, though, it may not be a great time.
Nah, that's what my cards are looking a bit like that as well. Yeah. Lady G, what do we have for what do you have for us? And by the way,
I think
sorry,
I got a bit of the other perspective for those maybe that are more into, the spiritual aspects, that some things will be coming forward, being offered for those that are dreamers, that are looking for justice, looking for, things to move forward better, opportunity to work together. More people will come into alignment together in a strength, more of a bonding. And that there will be a number of things that we can tackle, okay? And that they need just to have perseverance and put that energy out there in those directions and hold to it. But we can do it, we're coming together. So you're getting the one side of the equation. I'm getting the other side of the equation.
Right.
Let's see what Hogarth's got.
I've got something really interesting here that has come up, and what I can say, because as we know, I do Vedic astrology, what we need to understand as well is that Pluto as a planet is very, very intense. He's small, but he's incredibly intense, and he can also represent the dark night of the soul, going down and coming under, but also about rebirth, and particularly as well because he's been with Saturn. And Saturn is about infrastructure and stuff like that. This is why we're seeing, like, we're talking a lot about infrastructure, how it's creaking and how it's breaking, because Pluto can have that effect. So mine's quite mixed. So here, what I get is that there's some kind of sense of loss. And here, and it's kind of like tuning in with the both of you, like you're saying about the spirituality. I think what's happening is this: the energy is so high now. We are, like you said, going into this fourth density and higher. And I really feel that if people aren't prepared to make those transformations, they're going to feel very sad about something, because Pluto can be quite a ruthless energy. It's a very difficult energy, but you have to engage with it. You can sidestep Saturn, but you can't sidestep Pluto. And remember as well, this return takes 248 years to come round. So it's a biggie for any nation. So America as a young nation is having its first return. Yeah. So there's gonna be that. It's gonna require strength, but will people have the strength? Are these people that are feeling disgruntled, not wanting to make the energetic changes, will they have the strength to hold up to the transformations that are being asked of people and society? Because this is what it is, major transformation. Like we saw with January 6th, I said, look, Pluto has just come into the second house of the USA chart. We're going to see some big things. And then we had Jan 6th. So this is tectonic, big changes. Could it be that, we're going to have magicians trying to manipulate? But not only that, could it be that those that have been manipulating become exposed?
That would be perfect.
Yeah.
When we look here, it looks like there's certain people that have been used to having power for a long time, because Pluto is all about power. The shadow of it can be manipulation. But when we look here, so for me, this is a picture building where those that have maybe been holding on for power for a long time or a certain mindset are going to be forced to give that up in some way, because there's a new vibration coming in. They may not have the strength to sustain that energy, and they're going to feel like their powers are going.
Good.
What could be a factor in that? Could it be the coronavirus is still around and it's just kind of wipes out, in a way, certain illusions and delusions? You know, I mean, we've been seeing a lot. Have people been seeing that, you know, a lot of these people that have been, the virus is fake and stuff like that. A lot of them tragically have been dying, hosting shows and stuff. And they're just
left and right.
Left and
it's
right.
just tragic.
Yeah, left and right. You know, people going, because there's only 2 ways to kind of survive this. Either you're vaccinated or you've got antibodies from surviving. Like, that's it. Like, people need to understand, like, that is it. Those are your options. And, you know, you run the gamut with the other one. But also as well, I get, look here, I get the Hierophant in reverse. So we know the Hierophant represents government and stuff like that, but it's also traditions.
Yeah.
I think people are going to have to let go of old ways of doing things. The transformations, they're just too big. We need, like, the whole world needs infrastructure, restructuring, everything, every country in the world. And for America, of course, it's just absolutely crying out for that. So this, I see kind of traditions in a way being turned upside down, because Pluto is very much out with the old, in with the new, and it's about the phoenix rising from the ashes. But a lot of people are going to have to give up old ways of believing about things, because Pluto is going, no more, folks, no more. Anyway, there we are. The time has come. We have gone over.
That's interesting. Yeah, it feels like those in the law of one, those that are out for themselves, are going to have a really difficult time. They're not ready to pull together anything, and they are just going to get hit hard.
They truly are, because they've been living under this cloud of, like, disillusionment. And at some point, you know, their leaders, the people they look up to, they're going to be exposed, and they're going to come up against some harsh truths.
Yeah.
And they've been of service to themselves and not to others. Exactly. You know, even with the pandemic, just the simple act of wearing a mask to protect somebody else.
Right.
Even if you don't care about yourself, you know, you do it to help others. But, you know, the people that are too sick to get vaccinated, or, you know, people that are compromised, but they can't even manage to do that. Instead, they say, no, it's all about me and my right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a very sick mentality, but I don't see it ending well for them.
No,
which is also sad. I mean, because I want everyone to be saved, but you know what? It's not going to happen.
No,
it's just not going to happen, and not with Pluto. There are certain planets where you can defer a little bit. You know, you can defer. You know, even Saturn, you can defer a little bit. He gets you later. All he does is he just waits, and he comes back with a bigger stick. Yeah? That's basically what happens with Pluto. With Saturn, he's like, okay. That time round, but then he goes like that, and he goes like, you know, crap. With Pluto, it's not that. It's the motto of Pluto is transform or die, quite literally. So what we see now, we see it happening already. Look, that audit has come in from Arizona.
Yeah.
Proving, you know, basically Biden won. We've had in California, you've got what's his name? Sorry, who won? Newsom. Newsom. At the moment as well, we have Jupiter, who's gone retrograde back into Capricorn, which is his sign of debilitation. But the shadow of Jupiter can be hot air balloon ideas and hot air and illusion and BS, basically. Who's Saturn? Pop. So the balloon is being popped at the moment. And it started when? On the 16th of September. When those results were coming in. Now we see that the audit has declared in favor of Biden. So there are a lot of people who are having their illusions, their Seven of Cups vision of the world popping. And Pluto is going to be adding that extra layer. So I think we're going to see a lot of people going forward who are going to literally be proper doolally and out of it. They are not going to be able to adjust to the reality, because those magicians are now in reverse.
Yeah.
Oh, they're ramping up, because like I said, I do follow them. You know, I find it fascinating to watch some of these people.
Oh, I see.
And they are ramping up. And you want to know something creepy? One of the biggest ones sent me an email to my personal email that has
Wow.
my last name.
Wow.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
How did they get that?
Did you get this? Because he's really ramping up. He's making all kinds of videos and coming up with, you know, insiders and all these like secret insiders that know the truth and they're going to expose everything.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, how did you get my email that has my last name?
Wow.
You know, these people are a little creepy.
Yeah.
They really are. I think my screen is frozen. I don't know how the two.
No, you're fine here.
You're fine. You're fine.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, when I'm looking at myself and all of you, you guys are frozen. So I find that fascinating. I mean, we are quite a bit over now. So I think to be continued, shall we say? Again, thank you everyone for being here with us this evening. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thank you.
Join our channels. Again, links in the description below. Thank you again also as well to everyone who donated. That is wonderful. And we will see you all next week. I'm completely frozen, so I'm flying blind now. So I probably
we're all fine. We're showing up okay. So
okay. I'm still frozen on my side. I really appreciate everyone being here. And of course, Diane and Lady G. And we will see you all next week, everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love and light to everyone. Be safe,
everybody. All right. Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, I've completely frozen here. Even my end broadcast
still
is not
live.
working.
Yeah, you can't end it.
You can't end it. We're on here forever.
Oh my God!
That'll be the show that never ends.
Oh my God.
I love technology.
Obviously, look, we've been talking about Pluto and about power, but there's someone there who doesn't want this broadcast to end. I can't end the broadcast.
Go and go.
Oh my goodness.
All right, how am I going to do this? I will have to. If I close down the screen, that's not going to. I know. I have to close down the screen, join, and then end. 1 minute. Let me just see.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I find that the last week or so, technology's just been glitchy.
Yeah, it's just been crazy of late.
I got the new iPhone yesterday, the iPhone 13, and you take your old iPhone and you put it near the new iPhone and it just syncs and does its thing, except it sort of didn't. And it wouldn't let me sign into my YouTube channel, and I had a live with my members. And then it said I had failed attempts, and I'm like, well, I know my email address and my password, so but it wasn't good enough. And it did the facial recognition, but that wasn't good enough. And so finally I figured out you had to have it on Wi-Fi, and I was just doing data, and then it worked. And I'm like, okay. So after all that stress,
here he comes. There he is.
Oh my God. Right. Okay. This is so random. All right. So I'm going to try and end now and see if I can end the broadcast.